What is going on, everyone? And today we are here for week 9 of the Global Mazda MX-5 Fanatec Cup Rookie Series. This week we are at Summit Point Raceway. So, obviously, the circuit's been on the service for a very long time. I think it was one of the original tracks that iRacing scanned. It's got a lot of character here. So, obviously, lots of laps have been done here in this car over the past. But it's actually probably only the second or third time I've driven around here, so to actually go and do some laps this week has been quite a bit of fun so far. So looking forward to breaking down the circuit with you. The Mazda flows very nice around here. There's a couple of braking zones where you got to be careful that the rear doesn't sort of catch you out or anything like that. But all in all, I think the racing will be quite a lot of fun here. It's definitely a track where you can flow the car, and if you can keep them mid-corner speeds up, I think you'll actually sort of be able to make some pretty good passes at certain points of the track as well. So if you haven't already and you want to compare data, obviously with our change in track guide videos, we don't actually have the data on the screen now for when we're breaking down the lap. So if you'd like to actually overlay your lap against my lap, make sure you click the link below for our Garage 61 coaching group. Make sure that you change your privacy settings to only allow telemetry visible, and you lock down your setup. So I don't want this group to be a setup stealing, sharing group or anything like that. This is simply for guys to come in and to be able to compare their overlays of data and see where they're gaining time, where they're losing time, where they can improve, where they need to look at on the track a bit more. So hopefully that helps you guys. Also on top of that, just want to say thank you to everybody that's been watching these videos, liking them, subscribing to the channel. The growth in the channel in the last probably 3 to 4 weeks, guys, has been crazy, to be honest with you. It's a little bit overwhelming, but it's really exciting, so I really appreciate that. So if you haven't and you really like what we're doing with content, please hit that subscribe button below, turn your notifications on so you can see what all new videos we're bringing out. We've got some pretty cool ideas that we're sort of starting to put together for you guys for the end of this year and into 2024. So thanks again, guys. So let's get into week 9 at Summit Point Raceway in the MX-5. Alright guys, so now we're going to break down the lap. So as you're coming down into turn 1, obviously get yourself as close to the left-hand side of the track as possible. Now, what we'll do is we'll just speed it up until we get closer to the braking zone, and then we'll start to slow it down. So, I'll start to slow it down here. So you can see I'm not exactly like on the white line, but I'm pretty close to it. We're looking for this 2-cone right here. So I'm braking about half a car length before it. So nice big brake pressure. You just sort of click into 5th gear as you're coming down here. Obviously with a bit of aero draft from a car in front and a bit of slipstream, you'll probably get to 5th a little bit earlier. So then you'll be carrying a little bit more speed. So you might need to bring that brake marker back maybe another half a car length or so. So this is just my marker for really solo, no air dependency of any other cars around me. Nice big brake pressure. So as you'll see, nice big brake pressure. I keep the wheel nice and straight. I start to turn ever so slightly as we get to the escape road, right? And it's more just to come off the white line a tiny little bit. And then you'll see I actually start to rotate and follow the trajectory of this like different part of bitumen in the center of the track, right? And then I sort of place myself on the crease in the middle of the corner, get close to the curb, clip the curb at sort of, I would say, 3/4 of the way around the curb. So you see, I'm just using that last probably 1.5 to 2 foot of curb just to help rotate the car in the final stage. The car bounces off. I let the car run wide to the white lines in the middle of the road. And then I start to straighten the wheel up as quick as possible and apply 100% throttle. So, and then from that point there, we will just speed it up till we get to the next corner. You see, I stay on the right hand side of the circuit. Right, this next one's a little bit tricky because it's all about the way you turn the car in, right? So you can see here, I'm as close to the edge of this right-hand side of the track as possible, right? So, and then if you turn in at this corner too early, you're going to end up in the sand on the outside. So it sort of baits you into turning in early. You'll see from this point here. So I guess you could say I use the trees on the left-hand side of the circuit. Once I get to that cluster of trees on the inner part of the track, I then start turning the car. You can see I've got a bit of steering lock already on the car. The car rotates in. I probably put more lock in as we get to that escape road, the second one. I really start to rotate the car. Now you can see at this point here, I'm pretty close to the start of the curb where I'm hitting my apex, like, and I want to kind of like use a little tiny bit of curb just to help wrap the car around right at this point here. So you can see I let the car slide off. You see I'm already unwinding the steering lock off of it pretty quick. I want to get on the curb, but I got to be very careful not to hit the sand, otherwise you're just going to slow down a lot, right? Third gear through there, up to fourth as we're on the run to the next segment of corners. You'll see I use the track plus a little bit of extra bitumen strip on the left-hand side here. As I come down, I'm flat through this little kink section. I turn in quite early. I sort of make sure I'm about 2 dashes from where the white line really starts to rotate in the center of the road. That's the sort of line I want to take into the corner. Use all the, like, as close to the curb on the inside. You want to nick it 3/4 of the way through. I run the car to the center here. Now, the reason I'm running the car to the center is just because it's easier to go flat through here and then sacrifice a little bit on your entry into the bowl rather than like lift off in the kink, set yourself up on the right and then try and maximize the exit here, because I actually find being in the center at this little hairpin actually helps with a bit of drive traction. So once you get the car straight, you can see I'm braking. I'm trying to keep the car straight because the car does wriggle a lot in the braking zone in the rear of the car here. So you've got to be super careful about that. I sort of follow the white line in. You can see I'm chasing the car. I turn the car in just before this little gravel escape road that sort of, it looks like a driveway for somebody's house. So I turn in at that point. You can see I get right up on the curb. I want to hit that and then sort of let the car run wide. I sort of use the old concrete patch in the middle, as you can see. And then this one's pretty unique. Again, here, I sort of stay in the middle of the road. I turn in very early here. I clip the curb just to help with a tiny little bit of rotation, right? And then once I get in line, it's not quite in line with the building. It's more like the first door of the building that I'm sort of aiming for. Then I start to pick the throttle up, right? I pick the throttle up. The car chases out wide. You'll see I wind a little bit of steering lock off, but I actually do keep quite a bit on because if you try and straighten the car and then turn in, the car won't turn. So you've got to continue to keep the wheel in it to keep the car rotating through the corner, and then you won't actually have to lift at this little like corner here. You'll be able to carry second gear through here and here. Use a lot of curb on the inside here, so you can set yourself up as you come off the curb. You want to make sure you're as close to the left hand side as possible. Stay within this side of the white line. I find then I'm able to carry more speed through here. So then turn in nice and early at the tyre wall on the inside. Clip the curb, let the car run right out to the edge of the curb. Use all that circuit. Stay to the left-hand side of the track. Head down to the last corner. Now, the last corner is pretty simple, but it's quite easy to overrun your entry and actually cost yourself a lot of time on the exit here. So we're just going to stop it right at this point here. So you'll see just ahead of us, there's like, it looks like an old bit of like blue metal, like from the bitumen that sort of just formed this little sort of bay. Now, it's a pretty hard sort of marker to spot. But that's where I'm braking. I downshift to third. I pitch the car in. And soon as I get to that apex, I'm on the throttle at 100%, as you'll see here. So I pitch the car in now, grab the curb on the inside, and pick that throttle up nice and aggressive. Let it run right out over the back of the curb. Use all that bitumen. Get close to the sand. Get it back on the circuit, run it down to the start-finish line. And there you go, guys. That is your walkthrough track guide of the Mx-5 at Summit Point Raceway for Week 9's track guide series. Hope this has helped you. Good luck for your week of racing. Hopefully we'll see you on track at some point. And if not, we will see you next week for week 10. See you guys.